be fair, I could not forget about Brock. I could not forget about Mr. Lesnar. But the last hour of that show, you two don't even have any idea because you watched it on television.
Right.
Or on Hulu, where they turned down the crowd volume and you didn't get to hear any of the wacky chants.
Not most of them, that's for sure.
You suck, Cena. That was a classic. You suck, Brian. They weren't talking about me. Craig's got a very confused look on his face. What about this do you not understand?
You suck, Brian.
They were not chanting this to Brian, Craig. They were chanting this to Brie.
Oh.
I had to pantomime a BJ for Craig to figure out what the hell we were talking about.
Really?
You suck, Uso.
So everybody in the women's match who...
Yeah.
That would be everybody, actually.
So there was You Suck CM Punk and...
I don't think they actually got to You Suck CM Punk. They just started chanting his name when they got bored.
You Suck random guy in the back.
Craig Proper.
Who would that be?
Wasn't Paige in the match?
Craig Proper.
What?
She's a nice young lady with a steady boyfriend.
And who is that?
That's not for you to know.
So some random guy in the back.
Because you were so...
I'm just saying.
It's not a random guy in the back. It's a performer.
I see.
Anyway. So that was Raw, and we got...
I don't know his name, though.
WrestleMania to talk about as well.
Yeah, but she probably does. That's our
it's
point.
random to me, then.
It is random to you, but that's okay.
Okay.
You could still be a gentleman.
Oh,
I'm not sure he can.
Wow.
How dare you?
Calm your ass down. Let's do Raw.
Lesnar and Heyman came out for a promo. They were angry. And we got Paul Heyman cutting a babyface promo, which I'm sure must have happened at some point in the past decade, but it doesn't seem like it's very often. He said Brock almost respected Roman Reigns, but the kid still had a long way to go. Basically, he spent the whole time talking about how violent Brock had been in the pay-per-view, and the fans all cheered because they enjoyed his violence. They chanted Suplex City, and Brock laughed because I'm sure he never thought that would catch on. He just said it. Heyman noted that Seth had pinned the challenger, not the champion, and was now the most undeserving champion of all time. Said legally he could go to the state capitol and file a lawsuit.
Of all time.
Yeah.
I laughed.
Yeah. He said he could file a lawsuit and tie the championship and the company up for months, but Brock thought lawyers were scumbags, and instead he would simply invoke his rematch clause tonight. So, babyface Paul Heyman. Very effective, but weird. Stephanie came out, nearly drowned out by the boos. He also chanted Ronda's name. She told him, "Don't make me mad. I will take away your title match." It turned out to not be an idle threat. She said, "Rollins has been on Good Morning America. He is not yet back to the building. When he gets here, I'm sure he'll accept your challenge." And
she was wrong.
Heyman said a little bit more about what Brock was going to do to Seth, and they left. And this only went 10 minutes or so because that's a very short opening promo in 2015. And it was very good.
Excellent opening segment. Everybody was great.
Bryan and Ziggler finally got to have their big one-on-one match. Wade Barrett was on commentary doing a fine job. And what we got here was a New Japan Pro Wrestling match on Raw. There's very low on big flashy spots and very high on guys hitting each other really hard. It's quite fun. Crowd was probably the hottest they've been since last year's post-Raw or post-Mania episode of Raw. And they were doing the headbutt war again. And finally, Dolph put a stop to that with a clothesline. But Bryan, in selling the clothesline, fell in the corner and popped right back up and hit the knee strike for the win. A tremendous match.
Very, very good match. This show was on fire at this point, everybody.
And Barrett jumped Bryan from behind, and who should make the save in his big return but Sheamus and his awesome new look. I know the crowd chanted, "You look stupid," and Sheamus acknowledged these chants and in fact encouraged them. Sheamus looked awesome. He had a mohawk, he had braids in his beard, he looked big and scary and fierce, and he needed something new. This was great. And he beat up Bryan, he beat up Dolph, he declared, "I am back."
Dolph.
And that was that.
I thought he looked, it was a good look. He needs to be a heel. Babyface Ronald McDonald is just it's never worked. It ain't gonna work. This is a big improvement, and we get what a match we get on SmackDown.
Drastic improvement on the look for Sheamus. again, to echo you guys, in the match itself with Bryan and Dolph, during the commercial break, and they had to come back and show this, there was what can only be described as a short pile driver.
Yeah,
Yes.
that was awesome live.
I bet.
Yeah.
I have. That one was new to me.
Yeah, it was the old spot where the guy does the head scissor, the other guy does the headstand, but before Daniel Bryan could pop his way free, Ziggler just popped him up and dropped him on his head.
Put a stop to that.
It was awesome.
That was it's a great match. The idea behind this show obviously was these belts are important now, everybody.
They are doing what we said they should do, and I doubted it.
I doubted it too.
Yeah.
Hey,
I was bright side about it.
Hold
Don't
on.
ask me.
it's the first week.
That's true.
Let's not get crazy.
I bet Dolph
have
win
faith.
back on SmackDown. Tyson, Kidd, and Cesaro in the Ascension versus New Day and the debuting Lucha Dragons. Yeah. Dragons were the only team here to get their entrance on TV. Crowd knew who they were. They were all doing the Lucha chant and also chanting for NXT.
Dude, NXT was the most over thing on the show all night long.
Yes. that was clear.
I think even more over than Brock. I know that sounds crazy, but I mean, after Brock left, no one chanted for him, but they were chanting for NXT, the brand, and the guys all night long.
So the whole point of this match was to debut and showcase the Lucha Dragons. So they gave them probably 4 minutes, there's just the two of them to work with Cesaro. Guess what? They looked really good. Shocking news. Eventually settled down to just your standard regular tag match. The heel teams began to bicker with each other. Got a parade of finishers, and at last, Kalisto pinned Victor with the Selena del Sol
Victor.
from the Ascension.
Every time you say it, it's just like,
That's his name.
they called this guy Victor.
It's better than Connor.
I mean, come on. They got rid of Adrian Neville's first name, and they're still
Yes.
Connor and fucking Victor.
Yes.
Why don't you just get rid of their first names and so they'd have no names? Do you know their last names? I don't.
It was Connor O'Brien and Rick Victor.
That's right.
So it should be Connor and Rick.
Yeah, why isn't it Connor and Rick? Or Victor and O'Brien?
Trying to decide if that would be better than Connor and Victor or not.
It would be better. It would be better. Victor and O'Brien.
Yeah.
But they'd be like a law team.
Oh, yeah. I want these guys.
Put them in suits, two lawyers.
I want these guys dealing with my legal needs.
With their face paint on
Yeah.
still? Yeah.
Oh, man, I got to think of a good name for them. The Ledger of Doom.
Do we screw them in hell?
That's a good one. Greg wasn't even listening.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
The Ledger of Doom. They wear suits with spikes on them, and it's Connor or Victor and O'Brien.
And when they file it, they can just tack it on one of their spikes.
Yeah, that's their finish.
If they were Axe and Smash, they'd be Deposition.
Hey, that's a good one.
Ta-dunch. This was Callisto's match to shine.
Can someone please make that song for me with Demolition Song and just change it from Demolition to Deposition?
Are you done now?
So
I could
Booker
go all
noted,
night, just like Dave.
Booker noted that every talent on NXT should be on the main roster, so clearly he has not seen Bull Dempsey.
Or the Tree Hugger.
Or the Tree Hugger. Yeah.
Poor guy. I wish him the best in his tree-hugging endeavors.
That would be awesome if he issued a statement saying, I am leaving NXT so I have more time to hug trees.
You know,
Yeah.
it makes perfect sense because they were in San Francisco, and that's where all the hippies are at.
Hey, he just stayed there.
There you go.
Heyman told Lesnar he's here, and they left the locker room. Got a Neville hype video.
Yes.
He is no longer Adrian Neville. He is merely Neville.
Yeah.
That's dumb.
Hey, it's better than Mighty Mouse.
It's true.
Yeah.
But they did give him the cape.
He has a cape. So Brock and Seth came out. They both did full entrances.
Oh, God. They're doing Cena versus Rusev again, by the way, at Extreme Rules.
Of course they are.
Lana is back as well.
They did full entrances, and then they did introductions in the ring, and everyone was ready to see this fight. But when it came time for Rollins to hand the belt to the referee, he hesitated. He left the ring. He noted he was jet-lagged. His foot was sore from curb stomping everyone.
It's a great line.
It was a great line. So Brock would not get his title shot tonight. And I don't mean to surprise any of you, but Brock Lesnar did not take this news well. He attempted to murder Seth Rollins.
I would expect him to take most news not well.
Well, that's true. He attempted to kill Seth, and Seth was barely able to sacrifice J&J's security and flee for his life.
Brock is the best. He's just the best.
He really is.
He's the best character in maybe, at least in Steve Austin.
They need to do a vignette where him and Paul pull up to the drive-thru, but their order's not quite ready. Sir, can you please pull ahead? And Brock just rips the door off the hinges and throws it through the drive-thru.
Sure.
I see him. They got like the whole menu wall speaker thing.
Yes.
He should get out of the car and suplex that.
Yeah.
That's what he did to everything at ringside.
That is, in fact, what he did. We got the best out-of-control Brock ever. He looked at the corpses of J&J security. He looked at the blaze of fire where Seth had run away so fast that the earth had lit up.
Combusted.
Thank you. And he looked at Heyman, who was just saying, I don't know what to do. And then Brock just turned to the announce desk and turned the desk over onto the announcers and buried them.
Yes.
Literally buried them.
You know what's even better than turning the desk over? I thought the best thing about this insane brawl was he turns the desk over and everyone scatters and flees. And Brock is standing there at ringside, and all of a sudden, Michael Cole is in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Yeah.
It's not even so much that he killed Michael Cole that everybody loved. But if you watch it back, Michael Cole is just an innocent bystander in the wrong place at the wrong time. Mm-hmm. And Brock's reaction when he sees the guy, and Brock doesn't even know what to do except, I must kill you.
Yeah.
I don't know who you are or why you ended up right in front of me, but now you got to die. Mm-hmm. That's essentially what happened. And he's standing there and he's in fury and there's carnage and fire and police sirens. And all of a sudden he just grabs Michael Cole by the neck. And it's like, oh, you're fucked, dude. And he throws him in the ring and it was on. But the way, you got to go back and watch it because I watched it all and it was better every time. The way that Brock just notices him, and then that's just it. He had no ill will towards Michael Cole. Michael Cole was just
in the way.
In the way.
He just, I feel bad that life has chosen to put you in my presence.
That's right.
But now I have to do this.
I don't dislike you at all.
It's not my fault.
But now you're going to die.
You just have to die.
Yeah.
So he F5'd Michael Cole to death. He grabbed a cameraman and was prepared to give him the F5 when Stephanie ran out, screaming at him to put that man down. He's a civilian, she said. I always laugh when they call anyone who's not a wrestler a civilian. It makes me laugh.
You got to watch Michael Cole's face in midair, too. It's incredible. He's got his arms out like this, and his legs are out like this, and it's like...
It's great radio, Brian.
Yeah, he's got... it's almost like he's got suction cups on his fingers. He looks like one of those geckos or who's Bullwinkle Squirrel?
Rocky.
He looks like Rocky, flying through the air to his death. It's crazy.
So Stephanie screams at Brock to put the cameraman down, and Brock obeyed her. He put him down with an F5.
It's true.
So that's not what Steph meant. She screamed he was suspended indefinitely. She ordered him to leave the ring, and then she left before she was the next victim of the tornado. And Brock finally stormed off.
That's what it is. It's like a tornado.
He did give the cameraman one more F5, but this was unbelievably great.
This was great. I noticed that when Steph came out the first time, she was actually selling her arm. Did you notice that?
Did not.
I did.
She actually had her arm tucked to her side.
Wow.
Like this. This is also what Brian was doing. And then later on, she came out yelling at Brock, screaming, waving her quote-unquote injured arm, telling him to get in the back. Get in the back.
You know.
Yeah.
I am so glad they paid Brock Lesnar so much money.
Absolutely.
Because now you just can't fuck him up.
No.
He's worth too much money.
He's going to be around for a long time, and I'm very happy about that.
He's just great. I don't know what else to say.
It's the best.
Every time he gets mad, you know doom's coming. And he never lets the fans down.
No, he doesn't.
Whether he's a babyface or a heel, when he gets mad, you know you're going to get utter carnage.
He is literally the Incredible Hulk on WWE.
Oh, it's great. It's so great.
It is Brock smash over and over again.
Yeah.
The funny thing about when he tipped over the table, then they parade Byron Saxton out there. I know. nobody thought that maybe we could pick up the table and turn it upright?
No, it was stuck.
No, he had to stand there like an idiot.
Yeah.
That was part of the gimmick.
They couldn't. I mean,
no.
If this table tipped over right now, I would grab the table and put it back on.
No,
there's a key difference though.
4 legs.
Brock tipped it over so violently it was embedded in the earth.
I see.
That's right.
It was like the sword in the stone. It could not be removed. So they went to break and they came back. They were strapping Cole and the cameraman to backboards. JBL and Booker T were still down. Had replays of everything. Renee interviewed Steph backstage. Before we move on, something I forgot to say about why the Mania angle was so great. We've been saying for months, maybe a year, why is Steph embarrassing all the guys and they all hang their heads and go away? When is she going to get her comeuppance? When they get Ronda Rousey. Mm-hmm. That's awesome.
Well, I got to say one thing, though. She's getting her comeuppance from someone from UFC.
Yeah?
She still eviscerated everybody in the entire fucking company.
Of course.
That has to be there every week on television.
The 2 biggest stars of WrestleMania were the people from UFC. That is true. So here we had Stephanie, in fact, berating Brock. Said he had endangered several WWE independent contractors, except she said employees. She said she would decide when he got his title shot, and she's going to fine him as well. Says Brock had told the world on ESPN that he had re-signed with the company, and that meant, quote, I own that son of a bitch. And that was that. Stardust versus Damien Mizdow. So he finally came out by himself, but he is still using Miz's entrance, music, and gear, and name. He is still not Damien Sandow again. He's still Damien Mizdow.
Yeah, that got over great.
So let's talk about Byron Saxton.
Please, I
don't watch a lot of golf or tennis, but when I watch them, in both sports, they discourage crowd noise. You will in fact be ejected if you're making noise at the wrong time. And so the announcers, even though I don't know if they can be heard on the court or on the grass, but they barely speak above a whisper. They do not want to be heard. They don't want to disturb the athletes. And this is the volume and tone that Byron Saxton brought to the announce desk of World Wrestling Entertainment on their biggest flagship show.
I don't see a problem with this.
Yeah. So, Saxton here, barely speaking above a whisper, noted, flattery is the sincerest form of flattery.
Well, he's
this
right.
was followed by 15 seconds of dead air. Unbelievably terrible.
The worst thing was, in the back of my head, I'm thinking, where's JR?
Anyone.
Where's
you know
JR?
what?
Where's the fans behind them? Give him a mic.
I mentioned this.
He was so bad.
I mentioned this on the show last night, but I was amazed that there was not one Jim Ross chant on the entire show.
That's true.
They laid out all of the announcers, and they trot out Byron Saxton. And later, I presume because he was so horrible, they trotted out Jerry Lawler to try to save the day.
Yes.
So you've now had Saxton and Lawler come out, and still not one Jim Ross chant. I couldn't even believe it. I think people have just finally given up on the idea that he'll ever be back.
Yeah.
He was in town.
Yeah.
Yes.
He might have even been in town that day. I mean, I'm not 100% sure. He did say at his show he was going back to watch Mania in Oklahoma.
I don't want anyone on any of these wacky wrestling sites to report this as news, but I wouldn't be surprised if we saw Lawler or Ross back.
I totally agree.
I would not be surprised.
So, Mizdow won with the skull-crushing finale, and Saxton noted, that's it. And then Miz hit the ring and violently attacked Damien Sandow, and Saxton said, hold on. And he said nothing else for the rest of the segment. I know it was his first time out there by himself. I know commentary is hard. But my God, he has been training to be a commentator for at least a year.
Let me defend this guy just for a moment. I'll be Mr. Positivity here for a second.
Mr. Brightside, thank you.
I have done radio since 1999. I have done probably 10,000 shows in my lifetime. I do exactly one show solo. It's After Dark. And that is by far the hardest show of all. Try turning this mic on and just talking by yourself for an hour or 2 hours. It's a nightmare. I cannot believe that they took this guy and they sent him out there alone.
There have been times when you've left this room and I've got maybe 15 seconds of material and then I panic.
Exactly.
Now, this is not my career.
It doesn't matter. The point I'm making is it's still harder than people think to go out there by yourself.
Sure.
Would it have been that big of a deal if...
To just send Lawler out at the beginning?
That, or would it have been a big deal if maybe Booker T escaped unscathed?
Yeah, why? I don't know.
You know what I mean?
Everything would have been a better idea. Would have been a better idea to put nobody out there for the whole show.
Let's not get crazy.
No, that's a fact. That is a fact. A no-announcer show would have been better than Byron Saxton.
And if they would have had a no-announcer show, it probably would have got a high rating because people would be trying to figure out why the fuck there are no announcers. Those kinds of weird things every now and then. Anyway.
Curtis Axel came out for a promo. He noted he was now on the road to Extreme Rules. I laughed my ass off at that line. He started to tear his shirt off with Neville's music hit. So we got Neville versus Curtis Axel. He has lost Adrian. He has gained a wacky purple cape. But otherwise, it's Adrian Neville.
Hey!
He did a squash match. Just showed him off. And he had all his big spots and won with the red arrow, and the crowd loved him. It was a fine debut.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Wasn't a great debut, but it was a fine debut.
I thought it actually was pretty great by the standards of how they usually fuck this up.
Sure.
I thought it was actually very good. It was short, it was quick, the people went nuts for the guy.
Any other town at any other time, and the crowd wouldn't have.
It depends on the town. Some places would have still gone up. It is NXT. Right crowd, they would have gone crazy.
Okay.
But this was the best crowd.
John Cena came out for his Open Challenge U.S. title match. I am sad to report that he did not bring back the spinny U.S. belt.
Not yet.
That's true.
It's only been one night, brother.
Yeah. He cut a promo encouraging all the fans to cheer or boo him, but either way, the champ was here, and he dared anyone from the back to come out and fight. And Saxton said, "Here's Rusev." And they played Dean Ambrose's music. Saxton said, "Maybe not." Like, it's not like there were moments when he was bad at his job. From the second he appeared until Lawler came out to carry him.
He lost every minute of every round.
Yeah. No. He lost 20 fights in a row via first-minute knockout. He was so bad.
I think your recreation of him is perfect and spot on.
It is. I am perfect.
Wow.
At this.
You've had a lot of practice being terrible at a job.
Yes, I have practiced. Believe me, I am an expert in horrible audio. And Byron Saxton was providing horrible audio. That actually makes perfect sense when you put it that way. So we got Cena versus Ambrose. They did know that Adrian Neville was trending, and yes, they used Adrian there.
Oops. Oh, man. Was that Byron? Another fuck up.
No, that was the graphic on the screen.
Oh, well, they can't lie about that.
Yeah. So they went to break, and after the break, thank God Lawler was out there. And from the point Lawler was out there, I didn't even notice. I don't think I noticed anything Saxton did. It was Saxton on his own that was terrible. Saxton with Lawler was okay.
Telling you.
So they had a hell of a match here on Raw. This is better than Cena's match with Rusev at WrestleMania. Ambrose put Cena in his own STF. He hit dirty deeds for a near fall. Fans were jumping up and down. After several tries, Cena finally hit the AA for the win. Even all the fans who hated Cena were chanting along for the 3 count because the match was so good. I lied earlier because the ref counts 3, and Saxton notes, bored as hell, Cena wins.
Yep.
And Ambrose and Cena had a tense handshake, and at this point I wrote, "This is the best Raw in literally years."
Little did you know.
This is where I was very confused by the end of the show. Why they didn't put the quote-unquote 6-man on right here, put John Cena and Dean Ambrose in the main event.
Because they're out of their minds.
Flipping those 2 matches would have made this a very, very good show.
I think they figured that people were going to boo John Cena very, very loudly, so you may as well put Roman Reigns in the main event. The big baby face.
But it wasn't just Roman Reigns. It was the people he was in the ring with.
We'll get into that.
Renee interviewed Rollins backstage. He said Lesnar deserved the suspension. He was a worthy champion who was going to hold his title for a long time. Randy Orton interrupted. He said he had beaten Rollins at Mania, and in fact, he never got his own rematch after he had lost the title. And Big Show and Kane appeared, and Rollins challenged Orton to find 2 partners for a 6-man by the end of the night. It was a Raw promo. We had a 6-diva match. Naomi and AJ and Paige versus Natty and the Bellas.
Oh, man.
I didn't, to my ear, catch any of the lewd, inappropriate chants on TV. So.
Oh, man. One right after the other.
I see here they chanted many things about the intimate habits of these women and the men in their lives.
It's funny because the match was 13 minutes, and for 10 minutes, all they did was talk about how they believed these women to be, I don't know what you would call them, but they had said very, very...
Talented?
Sure. Very lewd chants of the women. And then in the last 3 minutes, they finally decided, fuck, they're working hard.
Yes.
Let's cheer for AJ's comeback here in the final minutes of this match.
The last few minutes were very good. Up to that point, it wasn't bad. It was just like, is this match going anywhere?
Well, the girls were all very, very distracted by the chants.
Yeah.
And nobody was paying one iota of attention to the match. Mm-hmm. The only one who really looked like she was enjoying it was Natalya. When they started chanting, "You suck, Cena," she turns, she looks right at Nikki Bella, and she gives her a high five. Yep.
That's tremendous.
And then she got in the ring, and the fans start chanting, "You suck, Tyson." And she put, it must have been AJ or somebody, in just where you put them on the mat and you put their knee in their back and you pull their arms back, whatever they call it. Mm-hmm. And she just turns and she just smirks at the crowd.
That a girl.
Here I am.
When he's good.
When he's good. Yep.
So the finish was awesome, actually. Everyone started throwing big moves. Natty launched AJ with a German suplex. That would have made Brock Lesnar jealous. It was tremendous.
Well, she's a buck, too.
That helps.
Yeah.
If Brock suplexed AJ, she would just go into orbit.
Still be around the planet
yes.
now.
Yes. And finally, the Bellas bunked into each other, and Naomi hit the
No, she hit her sister. Clotheslined her.
Did I say the Bellas bunked into each other?
Yes,
No.
you did.
Yeah.
That's what he said, Brian.
A little different than an attack, but go on.
So Naomi won. And the baby faces all celebrated together, and maybe it was the chance, but it looked like Paige and AJ just had absolutely no idea how to dance to Naomi's music. Ryback met with Orton backstage, offered to be his partner, and as I wrote here, boy howdy was this wacky.
This is when I knew trouble was coming. I thought maybe they'll have Finn Balor debut. Maybe they'll bring him out and right here in the main event with all the top stars. What a pop this guy would get in front of this audience. You put that entrance on Raw after Mania, 5 million viewers. Mm-hmm. Nope.
That would have been smart.
Fucking Reigns. I have nothing against the guy. Is this the match we're on now, Vinny?
No, you're skipping like 4 segments.
All right, keep going. Hurry up.
Rusev beat Goldust in a boring squash. Here is where they dropped the line about how Michael Cole had suffered cervical damage.
Yeah, good one.
You fucking idiots. I guess, okay, after that, then is the main event.
Yeah.
So, it was, in fact, Rollins, Big Show, and Kane versus Randy Orton and Ryback, and yes, Roman Reigns.
You guys cannot comprehend how loud the boos were for this guy live.
Yes, I can. I was in Mania.
They turned the volume down at Raw. No, here's the thing, Craig. Mania is an open-air stadium, and the sound travels differently. This was a small 20,000-seat building, and the sound, it was like a plane that just broke the sound barrier. A sonic boom of hatred for Roman Reigns. And this fucking guy comes out, God bless him. I have nothing against Roman Reigns, but wrong guy in the wrong match on the wrong day.
In the wrong
They
town.
not only turned on him, they turned on everybody. They started chanting for every single person on the NXT roster. Then they started doing all of their catchphrases. Then they started chanting for Big Show to please retire. They chanted Cena sucks. They chanted worse than Cena for Roman Reigns. Every possible negative thing. They did the wave.
Yeah,
they did the wave to such a degree that the cameraman was just like, fuck it, I'm going to follow the wave.
Yes.
And he follows the wave all the way around the building. They ruined it. They did everything they could to ruin this match. And they succeeded.
Mm-hmm. They really did. And to the point where Seth was like, really? And he just stopped wrestling.
Yeah. It was seriously like that.
Yeah,
like,
he stopped wrestling and was berating the crowd.
He was watching the wave.
I have seen a lot of shows where the fans have decided that we're gonna play along or we're gonna be really loud or whatever. I swear to God, I've never seen anything like this. The fans became the show. The fans completely took over the building. The wrestling was not even like secondary. It was like it was nothing. Like there was no use doing anything in the ring because everything around the ring was what was going on. All the guys just stopped, they just hung out, and the fans they were the show. Like nothing I've ever seen before. It was crazy.
This is still better than the reaction they have gotten to most Raws over the past year.
No, because they turned the sound down, Vinny.
They can't turn the video down. I saw that wave.
Well, you saw the wave, but if you would have heard the sound, this was worse than any Raw times about 10.
No, you're wrong, because most Raws are silent.
Well, yeah, you're right about that.
That's my point.
Yeah, they weren't bored.
People were having fun, and the announcers were, was it here? Maybe in a Mania. There's one point where the announcers said, hey, any reaction is better than no reaction.
No, they were talking about it here because they were talking about the New Day.
Exactly.
Oh, the New Day. Okay, never mind.
Yeah.
They hated the New Day.
They did hate the New Day. But,
the best part about the New Day was the fans are the guys are trying to chant New Day, and the fans are chanting sucks.
Yes.
Right. So Kofi Kingston, or not Kofi,
Xavier Woods.
Xavier Woods is on the apron, and he starts going like this.
have no rhythm.
No, he's actually chanting along with New Day sucks. But he's yes, whatever. But as he's doing it, he's clapping along to them burying him.
Yeah.
And then he'll look up at him like, come on, guys, who are you saying this? And it's like, you're fucking clapping him into it.
You're the most painfully white Mexican I know.
I don't remember the chant. I just remember it was chanting that they sucked, and it was 3 beats.
So you are correct in that I had completely forgotten what the finish of this match was.
Kane got pinned because Kane and the Big Show were in the fucking match.
Yes. The chants that made it through that I could detect on TV, besides the wave, which was the biggest one, but I did hear "How You Doin" by Enzo Amore.
That's right.
I did hear "Same Old Shit" at Kane.
That's right.
The rest of them I heard chants for Zack Ryder.
Please retire.
I did not hear "Please." I heard it, but I couldn't figure it out.
Yeah, I think that might have been the Zack Ryder. I didn't hear any Zack Ryder chants.
I heard chants for CM Punk.
Yeah,
and that was where Seth he went up to the corner to do like the punches in the corner, and he looks at the crowd and he's like, "I'm still here."
Mm-hmm. Ryback was in the far opposite corner, and there was a group of fans there that were starting all the chants, and someone told me that Ryback was the guy that was feeding them names to start chanting.
Sure.
What? And
it was the people right next to Ryback. So I think that he was goading them on.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
So yeah, this was you know what? You call it what you want. I'm going to call it a fun main event.
Oh, hey, it was fun to be in the building.
Yeah.
But the main event sucked, and it was astonishing what they did.
So earlier I mentioned that Neville, his debut had been fine. In hindsight, Neville and Roman totally should have switched places in the show.
Yeah.
Roman should have squashed Curtis Axel and killed him to death, and Neville should have been the big surprise in the main event here and gotten a chance to run wild with the main eventers.
I agree with you, except Big Show and Kane were in there, and you know what would have happened. Mm-hmm. They would have made him look like a midget, and they would have made him look like an idiot, and he would have got a little comeback, but they would have made sure to let you know that he's small and he's not really a star.
Mm.
That's why my idea of switching the 2 matches, the Cena and the Ambrose match, that pushed that to the main event. It would have been no problem.
The better idea would have been to just pretend that Roman Reigns took such an ass kicking at the pay-per-view
that he wasn't there,
that he couldn't make Raw, and that Big Show and Kane are never seen again for at least a year.
Yes.
They need some time off.
Yes.
They really do.
I have nothing against them personally, but they've got to get off this show.
So 3 hours is still way, 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 way too long, but this is the best Raw in forever.
First 2 hours were the best Raw in years. The last hour, I wouldn't go that far. All right, everybody. I'm going to read this very quickly. I've calmed down a little bit. Plus, there are a lot of spelling errors, which will make up for my anger.
Create great hilarity.
From Ed in San Antonio to the Empire, I need to shout out and capital T thank some people who helped make this year's Mania so awesome. Court Bauer for setting up the Jim Ross meet and greet for the site members, and also Wale Mania VIP for our members, with an inappropriate apostrophe. By the way, the Jim Ross thing was great. Everybody, all
tremendous.
Of the Empire members got to go backstage and meet Jim Ross. Samoa Joe was there. They all got to meet Samoa Joe. That was really cool.
Vinny, check out this picture of Jim.
Garrett Gonzalez for
Jim now? You're on a first day basis?
Yeah, we're buddies. You should see
You
this.
know how Craig is.
Hold on.
He's a name dropper. Garrett Gonzalez for taking over being the ring leader to Jim Ross when I could no longer go, and for being the ring leader at WLE Mania, which I presume is Wale Mania. Could be WrestleMania. I'm not sure.
It's a picture of Craig and Jim Ross.
Yeah.
It's dope. It look
Exactly what a picture of Craig and Jim Ross would look like.
Dope, he says. Matt Cleary, he says, for making the awesome banner and bus
chopping you or something.
stop posters. Sadly, the banner was lost somewhere. Dave Meltzer for doing the awesome Q&A, and then for doing a second one after the show on the ride back. The highlight of which, by the way, in the middle of Dave's Q&A, the law calls for him to be on the show, and he can't do it yet, and so he's explaining to them that he's going to be home in a while. Does the entire thing over the bus mic. It's amazing.
You didn't pull it away once.
That's awesome.
Sean Sloan for giving so many people rides all weekend long. That includes me. A big shout out to Sean Sloan. He saved the day, as well as Damien, might add. William Lawler for making sure everybody not going to dinner got on the bus when it went back. By the way, I met Tom Lawler.
Yeah, we did.
Filthy Tom Lawler, and we're at the ROH show.
Kyle Kingsbury.
And you ruined the joke, you idiot.
Sorry.
Tom Lawler comes out with his other guy, and we're saying hi and everything, and he goes, "It's my buddy Kyle." So I just thought he showed up with his buddy Kyle. And so we're talking.
Hold on.
And then Kyle's...
Hold on. Kyle's 6'4" and has cauliflower ears.
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
So Kyle starts talking about an after party he had, and then he goes to the bathroom, and I'm like, "Tom, does this guy fight?" And he goes, "It's Kyle Kingsbury." And I'm like, "What the fuck?" Look, nothing like Kyle Kingsbury, but the nicest guy, and it led to the greatest picture by far of WrestleMania weekend. Has Vinny seen this one?
Probably not.
Show this to Vinny. This is the best.
Two of you with Tom Lawler and Kyle Kingsbury.
Yes, and I'm in the middle.
And actually, the best part about it is your own comment. Think about how
nice of these men to hang around with this little girl.
Yes.
It was crazy. Anchor for getting everyone staying at the Ramada on the bus. Darnell and his crew for getting Victoria/Tara to seat with us at WrestleMania. My date for WrestleMania. And no, I didn't have to buy no stinking raffle tickets, Trina Michaels, with an inappropriate apostrophe in Michaels. Dave Prazak for apologizing and admitting he should have booked Old Blue Pants before I could do bodily harm to him and not go to jail because of that. Incomplete sentence. I do want to say I'm sorry if I caused anyone to worry or freak out when the bus was late to dinner. No one was freaking out more than me, but we did get to all eat all we could before we had to leave. So thanks to Fogo de Choa for their great service, and we did get to ROH in time. On my last podcast, I said I was frustrated and was not going to do this anymore, but it really is the only thing I'm good at. Jesus Christ, what a load of guilt this is. So I will continue to make everyone's dreams come true and make sure everyone has the time of their lives, not for Dave or Brian or even myself, but for every one of you awesome people who I have meet or will meet in the future. P.S. Want to thank the two random strangers in the parking lot who got me high as fuck after Mania. And that leads me to my final fuck you, when every single one of us was on the bus except Ed, because he had to go try to get high in the WrestleMania parking lot. I should add, no thank you, Brian, anywhere here in this after I read this here on the air. Or Craig. Or Vinny.
Of course, all I did was give him grief all weekend, but
You should have given him more.
I'll tell you.